Aloha, y'all. Today we're going to discuss the top 10 signs that we are living in the end times slash the last days. Before we get into it, I am Timothy the Tiger, and I'm an evangelist, which means the messenger of the great news of King Jesus Christ. He personally has helped me heal physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, it is part of my dharma, part of my purpose to make these videos to hopefully inspire all of y'all to enter into a relationship with God. And today we got a good one, a great one. So number one, I can't say it because I'll be censored, which just adds to the proof that something's going on here. But we'll just say the stationary plane, geocentrism. So we're taught heliocentrism, helio being another name for the sun. Heliocentrism saying the sun is the center of the universe. That's what we're taught in school. But geocentrism, geo being earth, and centric saying the earth is the center of the universe. And I'm claiming that we are living in a geocentric magical realm, and that we are divine, we are special, we are the children of God, and we are placed in the center of the universe here on this stationary plane. And like I said, I can't say this word here. It starts with FLAT because I will get censored. I mean, come on, y'all. Why do they censor certain subjects? It's because they don't want you to hear about it. They're hiding something. And I'm not here to convince anyone of anything right now because it's 2025. And if you haven't figured it out by now, honestly, it's a little too late. I'm not trying to be arrogant or condescending, but all the information's out there if you really want to know the truth. And there's just so many mockers and scoffers. Like, is that a word? Anyways, it's just, I've known about this for about 8 years now. It's what led to my spiritual awakening. And it's also in the Bible. The whole biblical cosmology is supported with this as well. And you know what? If you're interested, it will set your mind free and bring you so much closer to God. And the truth is so beautiful. But a lot of people, they trust the government so much. They believe everything they say, especially what we're taught in school. So teach their own. Number two, I can't quite read it because it's tiny. Darwinism, dinosaurs, and evolution lie. So if I didn't get you on number one, I probably got you on number two. But yeah, Darwin, who was a Freemason, yeah, he pushed the whole evolution thing that our ancestors are a bunch of fish monkeys, and they invented the whole dinosaur thing to help support that as well. Again, you probably thought I completely lost my mind if you didn't think I lost on number one. But again, I mean, there's plenty of evidence to prove that that's all a lie as well. They've done fake skeletons of monkeys to like trying to prove this evolution thing. Like, look into it. Some of these like supposed famous monkeys that are these missing links between apes and man, they turned out to be fake skeletons at these museums. And the same with the dinosaurs. All the dinosaur skeletons at these museums, they're fake as well. They say the real bones are in a hidden safe that people can't go see because they're so delicate and precious and fragile that they couldn't ever risk putting the real dinosaur bones out in public display. So yeah, every dinosaur bone out in public display is actually fake. It's made out of like ceramics, like like paper mache, that kind of stuff. And when you begin to look into this, like it's all nonsense. And again, like all the proof of these dinosaurs is like paper mache, fake bones at these museums, and cartoons. Like it's all cartoons and movies. Like it's all reinforced with Hollywood magic, Hollywood movies, and the whole Darwinism, evolution thing. It's just trying to make it a godless society, being like, God is fake, you don't have a soul, you're not divine, you're just a soulless, godless fish monkey. Y'all, it's all spiritual warfare. And so for those that got the eyes to see and the ears to hear, like, this is common sense. But again, I'm not here trying to convince anyone of anything. It's just, it's 2025. If you haven't figured this stuff out by now, honestly, it's a little too late. Number three, America is Mystery Babylon. And so, again, I learned this around the same time, about 8 years ago in 2017. I was watching a great YouTube channel named Dana Ashley, and she put together a video series proving that America is Mystery Babylon, which is referenced in the book of Revelation, the book of Apocalypse, the last book of the Bible. And it just talks about how Mystery Babylon corrupts the whole world and eventually is destroyed. And yeah, it's a bit concerning because I'm still in Mystery Babylon at the moment, but God wants me here for whatever reason. And until I get the sign to go, I will stay here in Mystery Babylon. But yeah, essentially, I mean, you know, everyone like thinks like America's #1 most powerful country in the world, and it's corrupted the whole world through its money, through its war, mainly through Hollywood. It's filthy music, filthy TV shows, filthy movies. Totally corrupted the world that way. All the false idols, the false American idols of like the celebrity worship, all that. And yeah, you know, the assassinations of certain like political leaders in other countries, and just, you know, the manipulation of markets and industries and the medical system, financial system, all these different industries. Like, you know, we could do a whole video just on that. But essentially, America's Mystery Babylon, and the prophecy is that this country will be destroyed because essentially of its bad karma. It's got, I would say, probably the worst karma out of any country. Yeah, America is not a godly country, even though people may think it is. That's just part of the brainwashing. Number 4, fiat paper monopoly money. So yeah, I came to this realization that, you know, all the money is just paper money, and and of course the Federal Reserve, which, side note, it's not federal, it's private, it's a private company, and it's not a reserve. They don't have any reserves. They're just endlessly printing money, and that's what they do. They just endlessly print this money, and it's just paper, and there's no inherent value in it. Same with, like, think of the Monopoly board game. It's just paper money. There's no value in it. And the only reason why there is value is because we think there is. We place this imaginary value on it, and they're like, oh, this paper money is worth something. But really, in actuality, it's all really quite worthless. And I wouldn't be surprised one day we wake up and you know, all it's good for is like kindling for a fire. Just, you know, sort of worthless paper monopoly money. And once you begin to see that, you begin to realize that this should not be your #1 priority in life, because it's so fragile that at any moment this could change. I mean, we could have hyperinflation like they had in Germany in the 1920s, where you had to bring like a whole wheelbarrow of cash just to pay for a loaf of bread. Um, so, and yeah, this it seems to be the #1 false idol in America, the false god. When it says "In God We Trust" on the back of the dollar bill, they're not talking about the real God. I think for a lot of people, money is their god. That is what they live for, and they would do, probably some people would probably do immoral things to gain that money, whether that's lying or stealing or cheating or whatever. So let's move on. Number 5, we have endless war. It is a fun video, right? But yeah, my entire lifetime there's been endless war. Well, especially with the United States. I mainly meant the United States is causing endless war. I mean, it's going on right now. It's been going on my whole life. It's been going on way before I was born. I mean, pretty much since World War I, the last 100 years, it has just been nonstop. That is the military-industrial complex, mainly, specifically, it really picked up after World War II. That's when the military-industrial complex really started. And it hasn't really stopped since, because, you know, we had World War II, and then directly after that, the Korean War, and then directly after that, the Vietnam War. And then there was funding the Taliban to fight the Russians in Afghanistan. And then, like, the whole war on drugs, and then the Gulf War, and then Afghanistan War, Iraq War, all the war in the Middle East that we still have today, and then the war in Ukraine. Like, it's just and all the mini skirmishes, everything. It's just, you know, it's nonstop. Trying to be the police of the world and, but not out of a place of love. Number 6, his story. His story is a lie. And I mean, Napoleon Bonaparte, another Freemason, he has a quote where he's saying is like, "What is history, but just a bunch of lies agreed upon? What is history, but just a bunch of lies agreed upon?" And for y'all that hopefully know about this, but it's called Tartaria. It's called about the Millennium Kingdom of Jesus Christ that we've been lied to about everything. I mean, not only with outer space and with dinosaurs and evolution, but just history in general. There's this whole idea that the Dark Ages that were about 1,000 years, like the medieval Dark Ages, it was the opposite. It was actually the Light Ages. It was an age of enlightenment of Christ consciousness, and that's where we got all this sophisticated artwork and architecture of these temples and these cathedrals, and it's mainly in the architecture, the artwork, that we can see this. I mean, even some of the music as well. But yeah, mainly the architecture and the artwork, and it's way more sophisticated than what we build today. And there's all this proof that Jesus Christ was back on earth for 1,000 years. And this whole thing is called the Millennium Reign Kingdom of Jesus Christ. And a lot of people think it's going to happen in the future, but there's very strong evidence that it's already happened in the past. And that essentially, if that is true, like literally everything we've been told about history is a lie. That they pretty much made up 1,000 years, because those 1,000 years Jesus Christ was on earth. So they had they couldn't let people know that, so they had to just make things up. Y'all, so much of this is you just gotta have an open mind, and you just gotta question what you were taught, and pray for intuition and guidance. And it's a journey. It's a rabbit hole. Number 7, food, water, air poisoned. And I mean, hopefully you know about this, but I talk about it. The food, you got the GMO, you got the pesticides, the Roundup, genetically modified seeds, spraying the food with poison. They fluoridate the water. They put all sorts of chemicals in the water. They're nonstop spraying these skies with chemicals, and it's just like, I mean, if that's not a sign of the end times where we have poisoned food, water, and air, like the 3 essential things humans need. I mean, eating, drinking, breathing, and all 3 of those are being poisoned. Like, come on, that's a giant sign that we're living in the end times, the last days. And and most people are just oblivious to it. They're just oblivious. I mean, how many people do you know that still drink tap water? That's a big reason why people are so robotic, so docile. It's because of the stuff they're putting in the water. Number 8, we have the I can't say that word. I almost said it, but censorship. But 2020, the 2020 hoax, that whole thing turned out to be one giant lie. I mean, another sign of the end times, the last days. I mean, that was complete mind control, brainwashing, just policing, getting people to turn against one another, getting friends to turn against friends, family to turn against family, neighbor to turn against neighbor, injecting people with poison. Yeah, it sucked. The 2020, 2021, 2022, those years sucked. And turned out to be just a giant hoax, just a giant lie. Another sign we're living in the end times, last days. Number 9, an immoral, lustful, and violent society. So, morals are based off the 10 Commandments, and one of the things is thou shalt not commit adultery. Jesus Christ says if you even look at a woman with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart. And our society is overly lustful. I mean, just the amount of people, mainly the amount of men addicted to corn, the amount of women that do OnlyFans, the amount of just promiscuity, the celebrity pushing a promiscuity in their music, in their movies, their TV shows. the lack of marriage, the lack of children. I mean, just because people want to be more lustful. Yeah. And then the violence. You got people that steal, they cheat, they lie to each other, all of that. But when I wrote violence, I mainly meant the slaughterhouses, because on this channel we teach that Jesus Christ was a vegetarian. And that's the biggest genocide of all. The billions of animals that have been slaughtered to satisfy people's bellies and the taste of their tongue. And just no compassion, no sympathy, no empathy for these slaughtered animals. Sure, they'll love their dogs, sure they'll love their cats, but if it's a chicken, if it's a goat, if it's a sheep, if it's what else they got, if it's a cow, whatever, no sympathy, no compassion. If it's the wrong animal, they'll eat it, or like they don't really care. But God forbid they kill a horse or a dog or a cat or whatever. You can't kill those animals, but these other ones, yeah, kill them. We'll eat them. And it's just weird, because you look at Asia, and there's certain countries in Asia where it's normal for them to kill dogs and eat dogs, and we look at them like, how could they eat dogs? How could they ever do that? And it's just like we're such hypocrites. I mean, why do we place all this compassion on dogs? I mean, I love dogs, but I'm just like, why do we just choose these certain animals? Like, yeah, these animals, you can't eat them, but these other animals, yeah, you can eat them. And that's a giant sign that we're living in the end times, the last days, because very small minority of people will agree with me on this point. People love drinking animal blood and eating animal flesh, and just zero gratitude usually as well for the sacrifice of the animal as well. And so yeah, that's a big reason, and it's sad, really is sad. And it just goes to show like why our society acts the way it is because you are what you eat. And if you're killing animals and consuming their blood and flesh, and well, you're gonna act animalistic too. And I mean that adds to the lustfulness, because I mean animals are, they don't really think about it. They feel the sexual impulse and then they act on it. And humans are pretty similar. Like, they feel the sexual impulse and they just act on it. They don't act very human and think about like, oh, are there consequences to my actions? Like, yeah, people act pretty animalistic. They're not much different than animals. Like, what do animals do? They eat, they drink, they sleep, they reproduce, they may gather assets and defend them. And then look at humans. What do? They eat, they drink, they sleep, they have sex, reproduce, they gather a bunch of assets and defend it. People aren't much different than animals, and we need to separate ourselves and act more godly. And it begins by respecting God's creation. It begins by, being more celibate, not so lustful. But again, let's just move on. Let's go to number 10. Rise of atheism and Satanism in our society. I used to be a devout atheist, and I didn't think God was real. I fell into the brainwashing. That was mainly influenced by Reddit.com. Reddit.com's got a big atheistic community on there, and I kind of fell into that hive mind. But part of it as well was, I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school, but I was never given that experience of God. I was never taught how to connect to God. I was just told to blindly believe and just, follow, just like blindly just follow. And also the Satanism. I mean, we're really seeing it with Hollywood. A lot of just celebrities are open about it, and some people joke about it, but it's no joke. And so y'all, I know this was a pretty intense video, but sometimes the truth is a hard pill to swallow, and I'm doing this as a wake-up call. Like, hey, like, if you're not in right relationship with God, you need to get in right relationship with God. You need to analyze the 10 commandments, see where you've gone astray, apologize, seek forgiveness, repent, get in good standing with God, baptize yourself in water if you want to. I do it on a daily basis in the shower, and just start a relationship with God through prayer. You have free will. and God is always listening. God is omniscient. God is all-knowing. But this universe is based on consent, and God needs your consent to help you. And so you got to use your free will and give God permission, give God consent to enter into your life. And it's the best decision you could ever make. And so having a strong prayer life is important. Not only will it make your life better, but I mean, yeah, there's so many great things. But also, I recommend meditation as well. That's a great way to get that experience of God. And I mainly experience it through the peace of God. That's the main way I experience God, because God is peace. Jesus Christ is the Prince of Peace. And I feel that on a regular basis, and I'm very grateful for that. And, you may not hear the voice of God, you may not get these visions, that's all right. It's a journey. And, just having that inner calmness is a blessing. And, yeah, y'all. I know this video may have been a bit heavy, but, I'm a lover of the truth. Truth is my religion. I mean, that's all that really matters. And that's why I jump around these religions, is because it's not that the Christians have a monopoly on truth. It's so ridiculous. It's so silly. The truth is in Hinduism. The truth is in Buddhism. The truth is in Christianity. That's why I talk about all three of those religions, is because I see that the truth runs throughout each of those. And that's what my religion is. My religion is truth. Like, what is the truth? Ultimately, God is the truth. And that's what I want to serve. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to be aligned with. So hopefully you all found this video inspirational. I want you to follow Jesus Christ. I want you to subscribe to God and hit the notification bell for the Holy Spirit. Okay, y'all? May God bless all y'all. Namaste.